Uh, we have a lot to talk about today. Even though we're kind of coming into a little late, uh, Luke Luke Thomas has already been out there with some of his thoughts, and so have some other people. I've had a chance to listen to him, and I gotta say I highly disagree with a lot a lot of what they said. Mainly in the sense that I think they're somewhat complicit in the way things ended and like the boiling point it reached.
Yeah, I just hate. I hate the way the media's kind of shown what's happened to just pretty much everyone. It's making it seem extremely one-sided, and what Khabib has done was completely awful. Not
Oh
condoned in any way. We do not approve of what
no,
he did, guys.
no, I
Uh,
don't. Yeah, just because I feel that the media kind of stoked the flames that Connor set. That doesn't mean that I agree with what Habib did. I think what Habib did was completely abhorrent and not like it honestly kind of taints the picture he's set for painted himself. Oh, excuse me, as being this like extremely class champion. Like he was like a lightweight DC. He held himself in extreme class. Never really fucking bought into a lot of the trash talk or hype or anything. Yeah, he did trash talk and he had a way of doing it, but he was always like held himself with a degree of class.
yeah, yeah.
And I
No
think,
trash talk that wasn't that disrespectful, you know.
oh yeah, yeah, like his trash talk was really never just like super disrespectful. And I think the way that Connor went about it was the reason why it went so badly. Like it, it's a bummer because everyone is so focused on what Habib did after the fight that it's almost robbed everything that was so good about this card. And let me tell you guys, this card, from like the way it started to the way it ended, was just like one what the fuck after another. Um, for me, my personal like performances of the night has to be fucking Ovin St. Prue versus Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes, I think, stepped up and showed that he has the tools to contend with some of the more savvy 205ers in the game.
Oh yeah, it was. He really showed that he belongs up there. OSP didn't look like he had much of a chance in that fight at all. And I preferred watching that over his like 10-second knockouts or one kick knockouts. Just because it really showed where he belonged as far as like being in the top.
Yeah, like more than anything, like it was the way he systematically would shut down any sort of offense that uh, Ovens would start to mount. Like anything that Ovens would start to kind of put together, he would immediately shut it down. And I think the best part of that performance was the way he was able to stuff Owens' takedowns. Mind you, like, um, uh, Owens is not a D1 wrestler by any means. Like, he's not the best wrestler. But he is an extremely athletic guy, an extremely strong guy that can drag people down. And the way that Dominic was just able to shake him off was fucking amazing. And another huge fight that we called it, dude. We said it was a potential like fight of the night was Ferguson and Pettis.
Oh man, barn burner. That was insane.
Did it, like, I knew Pettis was gonna catch Tony, but holy shit, man. Like, I was really bummed that he broke his hand, but let's give, like, some major love and respect to Rufus for stopping the fight.
Yeah, most coaches wouldn't do that, and I mean it kind of sucks in one end, but at the same time he was looking out for Pettis, and a lot of people are saying Pettis was looking for a way out, but Pettis isn't the one that called stops on it. It was all Rufus.
No, Pettis was pretty much saying, like, my hand's broken, but I think I can do this. And
Yeah,
he was like, Ed Rufus is like, if your hand's broken, you can't perform at your best, and I'm not going to send you out there to get hurt. Like, I agree with that. Anthony Pettis, at this point, has proved that he still has a few fights left in his gas tank. He can still really put on a show, still crack you, and is still an extremely exciting fighter.
yeah,
I don't know if he's going to be able to make a contention run, but I think
yeah,
he's got some novelty fights in him, dude. Like
definitely.
you can't say that like he's done. Like he's got some novelty fights.
Yeah, he's definitely still someone to look out for in the lightweight division. As far as contention runs, I think that was the fight that would have put him back in, and that was kind of like the peak. Like, is he going to be a contender or is he not?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the fight was stopped because his hand was broken, and I don't think he's going for title contention anytime soon. But you know what? He's looking phenomenal lately compared to what he was looking. So,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
And I think also the fact that like this is the third fight now he's broken something in the fight. Like I mean, it pains me to say this, but he is starting to like show the miles.
Yeah,
Like
going
he's
down.
now had like 29 pro fights, almost 30, and at lightweight, dude, that's a lot of fights.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't see that
Like
too often anymore.
no, like Tony Ferguson's up there, Habib's up there. Like a lot of these guys who have like 20 plus fights and or like 20 plus wins, like um Anthony, Tony, Habib, and even Connor, like their bodies start to break down after a certain
Yeah.
point.
And you gotta think with Anthony, he's been fighting the very top for years now. I mean,
Since
Khabib, Tony, yeah, they've got a lot of fights, and yeah, they're at the top now, but Anthony's been at the top. He's been
yeah,
fighting the very best.
he's
A lot of people that people claim were warriors, Anthony's fought them.
yeah, dude, like Anthony could retire tonight and no one would hate him. Like that's how crazy good of a career he has. Because like he's been in there with some of the best lightweights throughout like lightweight history. Like and that also I think like fucking Mendez fought Guida and beat him, but Anthony fought Guida when he was in his peak.
Yeah,
Like he fought Guida when he was still the motherfucking carpenter. Like
right.
it was around the same time like he had that crazy brawl with Henderson too.
Yeah, it was Guido was the very next fight after Henderson.
Yeah. So like honestly, the wars that Pettis has had are just something to really watch. It's like it's up there with fucking Jake Ellenberger.
Right.
And I have to say the number one fight that I was happy I was wrong about, even though that like she does have a history of having extremely good wrestling, is the Watterson Herrick fight. Dude,
Hmm.
I don't know what got into Watterson, but she her wrestling defense and offense fucking look good. Like she shut down a lot of Harry's game, forced her to fight in the clinch, and like handled herself in the clinch.
Right.
Like there was a couple times she got tagged, but she recovered quickly and like listening to the broadcasters, they're saying, "Oh, she shouldn't hang out in the clinch. She needs to get out more." And I'm like, "Dude, she looks like she's handling herself. You know, like Watterson looked so much better from the Courtney Casey fight. Like she looked dominant. In my opinion, she had a clean 3-0 sweep."
Right. Yeah, I'm sad I missed that fight because I was just getting back from the football game, but I heard it was a tough fight for her, and she really brought it.
Dude, like Watterson was really getting pressured, and Felice really wasn't letting her off the hook, but she wasn't trying to like press her advantage either. So when she would start to exchange with Watterson, Watterson would just like kind of faint back a little bit and start blasting in with these beautiful counter kicks, hook kicks. Caught her clean on the jaw in the first round. Like it was classic karate hottie. It I'd love to say that because like in her past few fights, like the the Casey fight is the one that always comes to mind because it's the most recent one, obviously. But that fight was so fucking close, so fucking back and forth, and she just got outmuscled. She like had good moments, but she just was clearly like outclassed. But in this fight, it was a completely different Watterson. I couldn't believe it.
That's awesome. That really is. And God, the Derek Lewis. What about
Dude,
Derek?
what did we say? What did we say? He carries power deep into rounds.
He
That boy.
he did it. He waited till the last few seconds to finally get
Oh my
something
god.
in, but he did it.
14 minutes and 49 seconds. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, we said, I mean, I hate to sound like I'm some sort of fucking clairvoyant, but you can go through Derek's record right now and see like how many wins of his come in the later rounds. Like this dude just packs that power that will never like die pretty much. Like he can stop you. And yeah, round Shamil Abdurrahimov, round 4. Travis Brown, round 2. Marcin Tybura, round 3. Alexander Volkov, round 3.
Right.
Like this
It's just
guy is actually weirdly more dangerous in the later rounds.
even with that awful cardio too.
Dude,
Self-admitted awful cardio.
dude, that Popeyes cardio, I swear. Dude, you know what? They need to make a Popeyes belt for him and DC.
Right. Oh man, that was just his interviews too, man. That guy's a gift to the country.
He is a national treasure that we do not deserve. Like, I'm just saying that right now. And if anyone hasn't looked at his Instagram, motherfucker, you need to go look at that shit right now. His Instagram is lit as fuck.
Who else takes their pants off right after their
Oh my god. My balls were hot.
balls were hot?
My balls were hot.
He's almost 2 on it.
It's amazing, dude. And then Sergio Pettis versus Husier Formiga. That was a good fight, but Pettis himself. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. Like, that was a fight he could have had from round to round. There were so many instances where he could have taken the fight. He kind of just, like, let it slip away and let Husier just add up takedowns, add up control time on top. And then for the third round, he just wore him like a backpack.
Yeah,
It
Sergio
was,
had that problem. I mean, in a lot of his fights, he just kind of lets off and lets his opponent control when he shouldn't.
yeah, like the thing is, when Sergio would let loose with his strikes, he would look good. He would tag Formiga. It looked like he was going to be able to put Formiga away if he kept it up. And then he would just kind of break it off, then chill out a little bit, and then Formiga would just hit the takedown, control him on top till the end of the round. And that was kind of like the story of the whole fight. I mean, I was hoping it'd be a little more exciting, but at the same time, I don't fucking blame Formiga. If you have that much clear of an advantage over Pettis, then just use it and steal rounds. Fight smart.
Right.
Try and get a quick turnaround.
Yeah, that was, you know, Rufus just shouldn't let the Pettis brothers both fight on the same card because it never never goes well.
No. Wasn't like the card that Caceres beat Sergio on the same card that RDA beat Anthony's ass?
Maybe. I can't remember. I know whatever last card they were on, they both lost, and it didn't look good for either of them.
No. I think it's just that thing like watching your brother lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this win, with this win for sure, Hussier needs to campaign for a quick turnaround if he's healthy enough for it. Like he's now officially on a 3-fight win streak, and his only like losses as of late are to Henry Cejudo and Ray Borg, two title challengers.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And one is now the champion.
Right. So the Cesaris fight was headlined by Benson Henderson and Josh Thompson, apparently. So that was
Okay.
girl.
Ooh, wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was very long ago.
Oh man. R.I.P. Josh Thompson. You're not dead or anything, but like your career, dude. People these days missed out on a fucking amazing fighter.
Dude, he was awesome. He was insane. It sucks that he lost that fight with Benson because I think that was the fight, you know. That's what really turned around.
Yeah, that was really the fight that could have set his confidence back up. Like we're gonna get off track right now to talk about Thompson because you guys need to know about him. All right, Josh Thompson and his wars in Strikeforce with fucking Gilbert Melendez. Gilbert Melendez, dude, like shout out to Reebok. But anybody listening to this needs to put it on pause and go look up Thompson versus Melendez. Any of the 3 fights, because those were wars. You think fucking you think UFC lightweights had some wars? That was those were some of the best trilogy fights outside of the UFC. Easily.
Yeah, that was.
Those
were something.
Yeah. And speaking of like wars, wins, and losses, taking a little peek here at Formiga's record, like since 2011, he's lost to Ian McCall, John Dodson, Joseph Benavidez, Henry Cejudo, and Ray Borg.
Those are solid guys to lose to. Like, no shame in that loss.
Literally all of those guys went on to fight for a title. So yeah. I think the fact that he's been able to put this streak together is a reason he needs to campaign for a title shot. And this could be his last hurrah. He's 33 at 125. Like, they don't last long. No. Lightweight dudes do not have long careers. So I want to see him get a title shot.
Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, and it changes up that division a little bit because we've just kind of seen the same guys and then guys that came out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah.
The division definitely needs someone like Formiga to get out there and fight for the title. Win or lose, you know, at least it's something.
dude, yeah, like I think looking at his career since Tachi Palace, he definitely has put together body work that is deserving of a title shot. I I mean, I would hate to see him matched up against another prospect like Davison Figueiredo, even though I think he could beat him, but the dude is so dangerous. And I kind of have a feeling that the UFC would try and do something like that just because it's the UFC.
Right.
I mean, because UFC doing UFC things is like a great example. Jalen Turner versus Vicente Luque, where we said this shit was going to be violent. Dude, oh my god. Well, first of all, get that spinning shit out of here. I don't know if you saw it, but Jalen Turner is thinking he can be the next John Jones and try and throw this spinning elbow fucking John Jones style at Vicente Luque from close range. And dude, it was so beautiful though because Vicente Luque fucking just slips out to the left a little bit, or I mean to the right, and lands his just devastating left hook like right on the back of his ear. And like Jalen started barrel rolling, Vicente Luque hopped on top and just put him to sleep.
Damn.
He was out. And like a crazy fight for me to like think about, or not think about, but just like I didn't think was gonna happen was fucking Aspen Ladd versus Evinger, dude. Like I don't know if you saw that, but it was nuts in the sense that like I did not expect Ladd to come in and do what she did against Evinger. Like she made her look so amateur. It was almost kind of sad.
Little crushing inside.
Huh?
Little crushing inside.
A little bit, dude. Like, I mean, it just hurts a little bit because I kind of feel like UFC was just like looking for a reason to cut her.
Oh no.
And they're like, "Oh, you lost to this blue chip prospect. Obviously, you don't have any more deuces." But I mean, at the same time, they're probably looking for someone to test Ladd that can do it all and is gritty as fuck. And Ladd passed that test. But I don't think Evinger's done. I don't know what's up with her, though. I think though it's I don't think she was there mentally.
Yeah, flat-footed and such. Just
She was
flat.
flat. She was so flat. Like Evinger type to notoriously have like uh, mental problems in the sense that if she starts to like if she has shit going on outside the cage that's distracting her, she tends to not do so well in her fight. So, like I think there was something like that going on with her, but like it's just it's one of those things though, like Aspen Ladd looked great against Evinger tonight, but what are they gonna do with her now? Like who are they gonna set her up with? Because like it only really gets tougher from here.
Right.
Let's be honest. It's really like in the grand scheme of things, like she had one of the best nights of her life, but 9 times out of 10, like it could have gone completely the other way. She could have been in for one hell of a fucking just dirty clinch war with Evinger for 3 rounds.
Yeah. Man, and that
And so,
division is stacking full of killers now too. Like,
yeah, like it's really starting to fill out, and this is not fight against Ladd. She looked really good. Like her control, 2-on-1, the way she just like never let Tanya get a chance to reset and get back into the fight. Like that looked excellent. But my question is those. So with Ladd, it's just for me. It's a matter of like who they like match her up with next because it's gonna get harder from here on out. But the flip side is that she looked honestly like really good out there. She looked really confident. She didn't. She. I think the best mark for Ladd in that fight was the fact that she took her time with a veteran like Evinger.
Right.
And that's the best thing you can do. So, moving on, we have Holtzman versus Patrick, the fight that we kind of were like unsure about. That ended up being an extremely good fight. Like
Sometimes
Holtzman
those
came
are
out,
fights.
yeah, dude. Holtzman came out and honestly was not scared of Patrick and or Patrick and Patrick, dude. He was like a deer in the headlights. He did not. He was not able to get his takedown game working, and Holtzman just chewed him up with those leg kicks all night till he managed to like drop him and then get that ground and pound stoppage. Like honestly, Holtzman looked good out there, and I think his future in lightweight looks really bright. Patrick or Patrick, he he falls to 15-2, but it was a decent fight, and I don't think it's that bad of a mark against him. He's still got a pretty decent future at lightweight, so I don't count him out. I think you give him to someone like fucking just some middle tier lightweight, he'll have a good bounce back. And then Yana Kunitskaya versus Lima Landsberg. Holy shit, dude. This one surprised me. I was not expecting Yana to be so fucking takedown happy and also to be able to outwork Lima in the clinch. Like, I was surprised. I was like, holy shit, I'm eating crow.
It's always shitty, but it's great at the same time. It's like good for that fighter.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta say, the thing is, like, Yana, I have to say, has always had more tools and had more weapons and just like had a more out there game. Like she's a more grapple happy version of Holly Holm.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Holly Holm could take people down, that would be like she would fight like Yana does.
Right.
Only a little more technical striking. Honestly, this is gonna sound fucked up, but I think Lena gets bounced.
You think so?
Yeah, I think she gets cut. No offense, but she's a good fighter, and she really does put it out there. But I don't think she's ready to stick around the UFC much longer.
Yeah.
Like she's in her last 4, she's 2-2.
Yeah, that's not a great record, especially in a division that's not exactly getting a whole lot of highlights in the UFC, you know?
No, and especially a division where wins and losses matter a lot more.
Yeah.
Like lightweight, you can afford to drop wins and losses when you're in the lower ranks, but women's bantamweight, you need those wins at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It changes a lot depending on the division.
Yeah. And then a fight that I hate that we were both right about, Lentz versus Maynard. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm kind of a fan of Lentz these days now. Okay. mainly the fact that Lentz fought way better than he normally does. Like he looked like a really good striker out there, and like when he went for the guillotine, I was like, oh, here we go again. I was like, Maynard's about to fucking pull off a fucking wrestle fucking decision. God damn it. But like Lentz went out there and stopped him with this beautiful right hand or right head kick. Like it looked good. And I guess that Lentz moved camps. He's no longer at ATT. He's training with Henry Hooft.
Really?
Yeah, which goes to my point, like I've said earlier in our discussions. I think Henry Hooft is a better striking coach than Dwayne Ludwig.
Yeah, I completely agree there.
I mean, if you look at the guys that Henry Hooft has taken under his wing, like Kamaru Usman, fucking Michael Chandler, now Nick Lentz, there's so many fighters that Henry Hooft has taken under his wing and turned into some really competent strikers. I'm not saying like he's turning out TJ Dillashaw's left and right, but he's really tooled these guys up striking wise. He's really given them some solid tools and fundamentals that work for their game.
Hmm.
And the fact that I think he's a more consistent coach. Like, Dwayne has a good system, I think, if you're not used to it, which a lot of it kind of is basically heavy combo Dutch styling. So I I mean, if we're gonna talk about coach versus coach and the results produced, I think Henry Hooft is better.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, Ludwig did great with Dillashaw. He's had a few good people, but as far as, like, as a whole, I mean, yeah, I guess you could give him Team Alpha Male back in the day when he was there, but at the same time, like, Team Alpha Male was already, like, all those, he had a gift given to him.
Yeah, he kind of like he got lucky with Uriah Faber and Team Alpha Male. They were already a known gym full of extremely good guys, and the thing is, like Henry Hoof took a chance with Black Zillions on a like, yeah, Black Zillions eventually fell apart, but um, like he's got his own gym now, and he's producing a lot of solid fighters.
He's doing great. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
and I think, and then this last one, the opening fight, Tony Martin versus Ryan LaFleur. This is another fight where I'm so glad I was wrong. Like nobody has any clue how happy I am that I was dead wrong about this fight. Like, Tony Martin came out there and looked solid at 170. I thought he looked a little too soft. Like, he looked a little pudgy for 170.
Mm,
But he looked really strong at the same time. Like, he was able to handle Ryan LaFleur's wrestling game extremely well. I like that. And the fact that he just would let his hands go and not even really like worry that much was just another thing that I was like, holy fuck, Tony Martin's looking good tonight. And he eventually stopped LaFleur with a head kick. Same way Lentz stopped Maynard, right hand or right head kick.
that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
That's great. Great for Tony to, get that chance and take.
yeah, dude, like, I think that he could have a solid run at 170, but if you were to bring in a 165, you would see a solid, in-shape Tony Martin. He'd probably still have just as much pop, but be probably way quicker.
Hmm.
Like, I think he was, in the first few rounds, Ryan LaFleur was really competitive, but in the third round, I could see there was, like, an energy difference between the two. So, like, overall, a lot of these fights turned out way better than expected.
Hmm.
honestly. But it's time to circle back to the fight and men of the hour, Habib versus Conor. And post-fight controversy aside, like, let's just talk about the performance itself. Like, I don't think we could have expected Habib performing that way.
No, Khabib, I mean, he looked amazing that fight. He was patient. He was throwing feints. I mean, he wasn't just leaping in there with giant throws and keeping his chin way up in the air. Like, he came in looking like a completely different fighter than the one we've seen before. Like, he really stepped up his game. A lot of people thought Conor was going to knock him out. He'd have no chance on the feet. Conor didn't even get him down on the ground with punches, but Khabib got Conor on the ground.
Dude, and like when Conor landed on Habib, like he just took it. He ate it like a fucking candy bar and kept
Yeah,
coming forward. Like
no, that last
there,
jump that everyone keeps saying he has because he was
yeah, like
supposedly rocked against Michael Johnson.
well, he was hurt, but he didn't wobble. He didn't
No,
fall. Like he just got
he
he
reset at most. He stepped back a
yeah.
little.
Like he probably saw some stars briefly, but it wasn't like he was fucking on skates like Eddie Alvarez was against McGregor.
Right. Yeah, or like McGregor going to the ground from Khabib's punch. You
Oh,
know, and that
I don't
shit
think,
fast.
dude, I don't think anybody expected it. And dude, people can say what they want about Habib and how like clumsy he looks, but the dude is a bona fide athlete. Like
Yeah.
the way he fucking like hit McGregor clean, and not just clean, but like I've watched it multiple times, and even in slow mo, the way he hits McGregor was just like a whip. It was just crack, goes down.
Yeah,
I was
it
just
was
like,
quick, it was fast, it was mind blowing, and no one saw that one coming. I mean, he's decent on his feet because of his pressure and his wrestling, but those punches that we were seeing it was completely different. He was explosive too.
yeah, like that was one of the biggest things I think Habib did right was that he didn't show that same fear a lot of people have shown Connor in the past. The only person who made Connor like kind of look human was Nate. Like
Mhm.
Nate Diaz, when they fought the second time, it became apparent that Connor is a 15-minute fighter
Mhm.
at most. At most, he can go a solid 15 minutes. After that, it gets sketchy as fuck. Like, we don't know if he's. And we saw when somebody can take him down repeatedly and he's dead tired and can't do anything about it, what happens? Like,
Yeah. No, and Khabib played that smart. He was patient about it. He took Connor down and then just kind of tried to wear him down. You know, he wasn't wasting his energy on Connor. It was a very smart play. And then the second round he came out and what he did to Connor kind of just shook the world there.
yeah, I think Habib had the right game plan in the sense of first round, be conservative. Second round, fucking go balls to the wall. Third round, kind of play it a little bit of both. And then fourth round in the show.
Yeah, it sucks that I mean so many people are forgetting about what Khabib did just because the after the post fight area, and then B because Connor supposedly wasn't himself that night. No, he wasn't. He didn't win any mental warfare. He was getting fucked
No.
up from the beginning. Like, he didn't look good from the start because Khabib took him down and controlled him.
Yeah, like I mean, one of the things I always said when people ask me who do you think's going to win, I always said I don't know, but if Habib can take Connor down and control him for the first part of the good round, or for a good part of the first round, like he is gonna have a good shot at beating Connor, because that's going to wreck him mentally if Connor can't get that first round under his belt where he has his momentum, he has his rhythm, he has his timing, he has everything down. Without that first round, Connor has a hard time getting into his pace, getting into his groove. What makes him the Mystic Mac?
Yeah, and then plus you got some guy on top of you, and yeah, he didn't expense as much energy as some might have expected him to, with Khabib being on top of him. But being on the bottom and grappling, it's gonna use your energy, and it's gonna fatigue your muscles either way.
And
If anyone that grapples knows this, it's exhausting no matter how easy you tend to go.
dude, just being in that position, it was funny because earlier that day, me and my coach got together and we rolled, and I shot a low single and managed down, and I was hitting that same pass on Habib, on my coach that Habib hit on Connor in the first one where he wraps up his legs against the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I use that myself in jiu-jitsu because it's extremely effective for straightening people out and get them to think about getting their legs out while you're just moving up to mount.
Right.
And let me tell you, that's a lot of energy just to secure that, and also the person is fighting like mad to get out of it. So the fact that there's a fence behind him, that just was so much energy. And he wasn't constantly trying to get out, but anytime he was trying, he was using a lot of energy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
Habib wasn't moving a lot, in the sense he wasn't taking a lot of risks to land a lot of ground and pound. He was just positionally breaking him down and passing and getting
Yeah,
into better positions.
very smart, patient play by Khabib, and
Yeah,
it worked.
yeah. That whole
But
first round was a masterpiece.
yeah, and second round, of course, was a 10-8. 10-8 against Conor McGregor, which is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. No one has ever done that.
Yeah, and it's against someone that everyone thought was gonna win so easily too.
Yeah, like realistically, we both knew that it wasn't going to be easy, and a lot of people knew. But I don't think anybody expected Habib to fight the way he did. Like
Yeah.
you, you can't deny that Habib came out there with the perfect game plan to beat McGregor, and as we've seen multiple times, has 15 minutes. So the fact that I think people hold on to the third round a little too much, in the sense that Habib knew the third round was his only hope. The third round was the best chance that Conor McGregor had to stop Habib, and he came close, to starting a comeback and momentum change, but Habib shut it down at the end of the round,
Yeah.
and that was it mentally for Conor. I hate to say that because McGregor is a great fighter. He's an
Hmm.
excellent showman, knows how to fucking sell a pay-per-view. As a person, I may not agree with the way he goes about it, but, what he's done for UFC and what he's done for just everything in general, the dude's legit. And the fact that he broke somebody who's done so much is just crazy. Respect Conor, but Habib was the better fighter in every way.
And Connor pulled out all the dirty tricks too, and it didn't help him. I mean, he was grabbing the cage with his hands, he was grabbing the cage with his toes, he was kneeing Khabib in the head while they were on the ground. He was grabbing his
Dude,
shoulders, grabbing his gloves. He did everything he could.
he did all but bite and eye poke and try and grab his try and purposely nut shot him.
Right,
There was Connor was desperate in those final rounds. It was nuts. I
right.
don't think it was just a perfect ending though. I mean, I'm kind of speechless and have a hard time thinking about it because, like, what Habib did was not only just, like, break this, like, aura that is Conor McGregor, but he did it in a way that was just dominance from bell to bell.
Yeah,
There
he
was,
basically dismantled him. This wasn't like a Nate Diaz McGregor fight where they were going back and forth. This was Khabib. Conor technically, by the judges' scorecard, won that third round, but it was nothing like the first 2 rounds of Khabib winning.
yeah, like, aside from that third round, had Conor managed to survive and go into the fifth and survive the fifth somehow, it still would have been a unanimous decision for Habib.
Oh yeah, easily. I did see a few fans say that Conor won the first round though.
I don't see how though. Like people, okay. The thing is though, like I've also seen people like, "Oh, Habib stalled out on takedowns too long." It's like, no, it's called being smart with your positions. Fucking learn some shit. Like that's
Yeah,
where you can use the term casual. Like I
yeah,
feel people
definitely.
throw that term around too much, but when people don't understand that like grappling and those exchanges with a fence pinning you down and then you have somebody like Habib who like an AKA you talk to anybody from AKA and they can tell you stories about how he goes toe to toe with DC, how he wrecks Rockhold, how he wrecks Ed Ruth, a Penn State two-time division champion. Like Penn State don't turn out no chumps. So
Right.
like Habib is just an animal. So when you have a cage behind you and an animal on top of you, shit's gonna get hard and you're gonna lose energy fast. Like I don't care. You're losing rounds with someone on top of you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I got a few more minutes in my computer before it dies, so we'll start
Alright,
wrapping
yeah.
up. Talk about this post fight really fast and kind of go over that. I know we brought it up, but God, I mean, it sucks because it was such a perfect fight, such a
It
perfect performance.
was. It was.
By
But
that, you know?
it was really ruined by that. And I think that if anything kind of I'm not trying to like say he's at total fault, but I think Dylan Dennis did not help anything at all. That
No.
dude, and I feel like he did it on purpose. I honestly feel like Dylan is the type of person to shoot his mouth off on purpose because he knows it'll get his name out there, good or bad.
Oh
Like people
yeah,
are talking about him.
just Dylan's the scum type. Like he'll do
Yeah.
whatever he can to get his name.
Yeah, and that's really I think why he said it because he knew Habib was still like hyped up and he knew he could get a reaction and he knew he would get trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
And if I was to go on Twitter right now and type in like Dylan Dennis or hashtag Dylan Dennis, like there would be just swaths of fanboys talking about how Dylan Dennis could submit Habib.
Yeah. Of course, and it's pathetic. I don't know. I can't stand that guy, but the UFC too. They're constantly promoting Connor's trash and personal attacks and stuff, and so in a way, I mean, Khabib he did what he did, but
Yeah.
I mean, he just got out of a fight. Testosterone's high, like emotions are high, and then this guy's screaming and yelling at him. So yeah, I mean, it happens in every sport, even or non-violent sports. People end up in fights and
Yeah.
brawls. But
Dude,
the
soccer.
UFC just promotes
You,
the hell out of it, and so like, what do you expect to happen? Especially from someone with Khabib's background, in a war area.
Yeah, like grow up. They grew up in a civil fucking war where the choices were go train as hard as you can every day because that will be your life, or you're gonna go fight as a militia insurgent. Like the choices, those that's what they are.
mm,
Um, this also the thing is like people. It pisses me off because people act like this is something that like it's so out of character. No, UFC has a history of doing this.
yeah,
Rousey Nunez, Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou, now Habib McGregor. Look at the way they cut those promos. Look at
Yeah.
the way they promoted each and every fight. The Rousey Nunez fight, fucking, there was this huge, almost hour block promo on Rousey, and then just barely a blip on Nunez. Ngannou Miocic, huge fucking promo for Ngannou, just everything. Ngannou this, Ngannou
Yeah.
that, hits like a
Nothing.
fucking SUV. Nothing for Stipe. Fucking Conor McGregor, Habib Nurmagomedov. Fucking Conor's such a mastermind. Conor's a genius. Conor's going to mental warfare. Da da da. And then it comes back to bite him in the ass. Oh, Habib's a savage. Habib's just a dumb Muslim.
Parents.
Da da
Yeah.
da. Yeah, yeah. It's just such disgusting hypocrisy from, and what's even more disgusting is you have mouthpieces like Luke Thomas out there who will just suck off McGregor in one fucking video and the next talking about how, like, it's so unimaginable. I don't get why it would end like this. Da da da. It's like they they knew. Kareem Zadine was out there on fucking Twitter telling people, hey, McGregor's playing with shit he shouldn't be playing with. He is doing things that he shouldn't be doing. This is gonna come back to bite him in the ass because this is bigger than a fucking fight. He's talking about, like, old rivalries that are more than just like a soccer team. These are like fucking countries that have been in civil war with each other. Like,
It's blood, man. It is
yeah,
blood. Hell,
yeah.
even Khabib, they asked him how it would be after the fight, and Khabib told them, "This isn't just a fight. This is personal."
Yeah, he said it's not over even after the fight is over. So you can't be surprised when it goes to that level. That's I don't condone what Habib did, but
No,
you
no, no.
honestly can't be surprised or shocked or pearl clutch that what Habib did was so out of character and so horrible. Get the fuck out of here, okay? You
Yeah,
guys plastered Connor just destroying property and committing an assault on people like it was part of the story. But Habib gets pissed because Dylan Dennis decides to run his mouth after he just beat the shit out of Connor, and he's the bad guy. Fuck
right.
off.
Like, are we forgetting all the shit that Connor's done just because it wasn't during an? I mean, right after a fight. I mean, he
Yeah,
jumped into a Bellator cage and slapped the ref.
yeah.
Like,
And slapped an official and really should have been like had some sort of punishment put on him. He threw, there was the Nate Diaz conference where he threw Monster Energy cans
and
into
he
the
hit a
crowd.
kid, didn't he?
Yeah, he hit a kid. Like, there's so much shit Connor's done that, like, they just are like, oh, it's Connor being Connor. And it's really along the same lines of like, oh, it's just John Jones being John Jones until people get tired of it. And like, I've had a little bit of faith restored because scrolling through some of the comments and scrolling through some Twitter feeds, people really got tired of Connor's shit. And they got tired of the fact that he was going so personal, calling Habib's father a coward for saying nice things about Ramzan Kadyrov, even though he did horrible things to Dagestanis. What the fuck are you gonna do? Ramzan can, like, make your family disappear with just, like, a single wave of his hand.
Right.
Like, that's nothing to fucking play with right there. So you
They don't
can't,
want that kind of shit to happen. They shouldn't
yeah,
risk having Connor going that personal and allowing it. And Dana White will
no,
sit right next to them and he'll giggle and chuckle about it while Connor's doing it and shit. But, and again, what Khabib did was bad. Shouldn't
yeah,
do it. It happens. So, I mean, we see it in sports that aren't violent and someone says something and then it turns into an all-out brawl. But this is right after a fight. Emotions are high. Someone's raging mad. He's been taking personal attacks and shit. And, I mean, what do you expect? It sucks it
yeah,
happened. I wish it didn't happen, but it did happen. And I mean, I'm not surprised.
no, no. Like, kind of knew where it was going. But I mean, the bright side of it is how Mike Tyson tried to make it sound like his fight rights weren't that bad.
Right.
Dude, one of the greatest replies was someone's like, "You literally bit someone's ear off." It's
Oh,
like,
so good.
it was like, I'm sorry, Tyson, you can't make us forget that shit.
Like that's pretty famous.
Yeah.
Pretty known now. All right.
All
Well,
right, guys.
let's sign
Well,
off.
this has been another little update from Pride of a Warrior. Be sure to like, subscribe if you want to or not. I don't care. But we will be back later to give you a double banger of Bellator because they're going hard in the paint and putting two cards back to back.
Yes, sir. All
And
right.
then after that, we will probably, depending on how we feel that day, preview a little bit of Smith Volcan. But that's not until the 26th, so you little critters are gonna have to wait for that one. Actually, no, scratch that. 22nd. My bad.
Ooh,
Don't believe
yeah.
me. 22nd.
Fuck that
All
one
right.
up. Signing off.
All right.
So
See
nice.
ya.